Hi, I'm Kenny. A couple of time ago, I saw a news that the former US President Joe Biden wrote college recommendation letters for two students applying for top American universities. Yet both applications ended up rejected. That made me very interested, and in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to prepare a proper reference letter when you apply for college admission. If you need some help in applying for college admission, I'm putting a link below the video that may help. You can check it out. Now let's start. Before we dive into the details of preparing a reference letter, we need firstly to understand what is a reference letter and how does it affect your application. Well, reference letter is very commonly used in many developed countries when a person applies for college, a job, or even just rent a house. It is used to vouch a person's qualifications, skills, character, academic performance, work experience, etc., etc. As a matter of fact, I personally wrote some reference letters as well, though not many, probably once a year also. So why do we need a reference letter in these scenarios? Well, let's think about another question. Imagine when you are a boss and you are about to hire a person, but this person can't provide any reference letter, not even a single one. What will you think of him? I guess you'd better probably just stay away from him. In the case of applying for college admission, the admission officer would be able to use the reference letters to figure out what kind of person the applicant is, of course, along with all other application documents, and even to draw a portrait of this applicant to see if he is an ideal person for this program, and eventually make the decision to offer him a place or not. The next question we need to think about is, who can be your referee? I mean, what kind of people can be your referee? What's the nature of your relationship with the referee? In the news I mentioned at the beginning, Joe Biden's reference letters didn't work out. Why? Because he doesn't even know the students at all. He wrote those letters purely out of the interest relationship between his son and the student's father. Would that relationship of interest be relevant to the college admission? Obviously not. And even worse, because those recommendation letters not only undermine the reputation of Joe Biden, who obviously doesn't care about it at all, but also undermine the reputation of the students themselves, because the admission officer would not be able to figure out what kind of students they are, or even on the contrary, they are just students of money. This left the admission officer no other choice but to throw their applications into garbage bin. So the first criterion to select a referee is, the referee must know about the applicant sufficiently. What does that mean? What if they just meet each other once a year? Would that be good enough? Of course not. Considering many referees are the teachers of the students, they'll need to be able to meet each other at least once a week reasonably. If you got multiple options of referees who all know about the student pretty well, you can apply the second criteria on that. You can probably select some high achievers. For example, they do very well in the academic, they are very famous in the field, or they have senior titles like a professor, dean, or even president. But please do keep it in mind that you would rather choose just a regular referee who is familiar enough with you over those high achievers who seldom know you. In many cases, the applicant is still a student. They don't have any work experience yet, so they just probably got both referees as their teachers. But if you got some work experience or professional experience that you want to highlight in your application, you can always choose your boss, your colleagues, or even your clients to be your referee besides your teachers. In many cases, you can have 2 to 3 referees in a single application. As far as I know, In many countries, the referees would like to sign the letters drafted by the applicant themselves, as long as the content of the letter is not that too much. But if in your country that's not the case, and you don't have a word over the content of the reference letter, you probably want to skip the rest part of this video. And I'm putting a link below the video to help you in applying for college admission. You can check it out. The first part of the reference letter is the greeting. To be academically serious enough, it is recommended to use "to whom it may concern" as a start, instead of something like "Dear Sir" or "Madam." The following part would be the opening of the letter. Because you are drafting this letter as the applicant yourself, I have seen many funny openings in which they basically put everything about themselves here. But that's impossible for the referee to know. For example, what kind of courses they have had throughout the years, which books they have read, and all the activities they have participated in. But obviously that's not up to the referee to know at all. So keep it in mind that you are drafting this letter under the name of your referee, not yourself. A proper opening would be that you start with how the referee got to know about you. For example, if he is your teacher, you can say in which year you had what course, and on what frequency the referee meets up with you. For example, you had 2 lectures per week throughout a semester of 3 months or something. That would make the admission officer clear about how much the referee knows about you. As a matter of fact, many Western universities have already set up a reference form to be filled in with this information, so you need to keep it consistent with your reference letter. The next part is the main body of the reference letter, in which you can put how the referee thinks of you. But note, it is way more important to put some facts than just an opinion. For example, once the student submits an assignment in which he did what kind of analysis and reached what kind of conclusion, why that was amazing and impressed the referee very much. This would be much better than just, oh, the applicant is a top student, is a good student, is an excellent student, something like that. In the next part of the letter, you can put something about the proposed program you are applying for, but this is totally optional. It may work better if the referee is in the same field as the program you are applying for, but in many cases this is not likely, and the applicant can always apply for many different programs at a time, so it is not very feasible to put this part in every single reference letter. In that case, for the convenience to use all the same reference letters for all the applications, you can just save this part safely. In the last part of ending, besides a brief summary such as good luck or best hope or something like that, it is always very important to include the referee's name, title, contact, signature, and date. Surely in some countries, according to your custom, you may want to put this part in the beginning ahead of the greeting. It is just fine as long as you include all this information. After introducing how to write a proper content of a reference letter, I have some notes for you. The first one is the use of the English language in the reference letter. I have seen many reference letters that were written with multiple super long sentences made up of diversified, fabulous words that I hardly know. I understand many people believe this style of writing is advanced and can help with their reference letter. But that's totally not the case, especially in those countries where English is not the official language, and many people don't speak English at all. That would just make the reference letter look weird. Therefore, you should just use the English language in a way that is comfortable to you. But of course, you need to do the proofreading at the last step to correct the errors in spelling and grammar and so on. Of course, there can be some exceptional case. For example, your major is English literature, and your referee is a master of English language. In that case, you can use all you got to reflect your proficiency in English writing. and your master of English language. My second note is about length. How long should be a reference letter? Well, there is no strict rule on this. Any length is just fine as long as you can make the content proper. But in many cases, you should probably control your letter to be less than 2 pages. As to the number of words, it is okay from 300 to 1000 in most cases. My last note is about the paper that the reference letter is printed on. In all cases, it is always recommended to use a headed paper with the logo, name, contact of the referee's employer. This will ensure the letter looks formal and serious enough. I hope I just explained clearly about everything in this topic, and I am putting a link below the video in case you need help in applying for college admission. But if you have any more questions, please do let me know. I'm Kenny. Learn my lessons on your way to Canada. See you in next video.